Welcome everyone.
Hi there, everyone. Gary and Alex here.
So in this video, we want to talk about how fasting is the fast track to doing some pretty deep inner work for yourself and
And in your
in
relationship.
your relationship. So we've been fasting now together for how many years?
Um,
7?
Probably 7 years,
Yeah,
about
about
7 years.
7 years. And every single fast, and we fasted a lot, and we've done long fast, and now we prefer shorter fast because in a sense for
Yeah.
time reasons, but also we no longer need these long fasts. We've done that. And so but we do regular short water fasts, and we combine them with different detoxes, etc. And every single fast that we've done, we have had
Something come up
we had,
in our relationship.
yes.
So yeah, what fasting does, it doesn't just eliminate the physical matter and waste. It will bring up the patterns that, particularly in a relationship, you rarely have a mirror,
Mhm.
and these patterns come up, and they come up often because, yeah, you don't have the food, and we all use food to numb our feelings and our emotions. Like when we're not feeling good, or like work is a little bit tough, we go and get a coffee, we go and get a tea, just
Or whatever you do, like we don't drink coffee, but even just a tea. Okay, we can drink tea when we're water fasting, but
but herbal teas.
herbal teas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you eat, and even just the act of eating, like, you have your breakfast, you have your lunch, you have your whatever, and it's calming to the nervous system, and not just the nervous system, like it feeds us on so many levels. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with eating. We're big foodies, we love eating. There's nothing wrong with eating. We love fasting and we love feasting.
Especially eating after you break the fast. That is just amazing.
Yes, that makes the whole fast worthwhile. But
It's a sensory experience that's
yes,
just,
but now we're talking about,
yeah, we're talking about the patterns that come up.
we're just coming out of our own fast, so that's why we're already. But okay, so we want to talk about the patterns because we just came out of another fast.
Yeah, so we just did a 6-day fast, started with a colon cleanse of 5 days of water. Then we did 1 day of fruit and juice. And today we're still
Little.
technically on the fast. We're now doing a liver flush,
Mhm.
um,
Enzyme liver flush, which
enzyme
is
liver
not,
flush. And we're in the middle of it. So I hope I don't have to run to the toilet.
yeah, otherwise I'll have to continue my own. Okay. So we were just, and even in this fast, as really, and of course every fast is different, and some fasts bring up big stuff, you know, and other fasts is more like little things, little adjustments. But the point is, I would say every single fast that we've done has created major opportunity for shifts and
Yeah,
even
to really like
upgrades.
look at the patterns.
Yes, but upgrades.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
let's talk about the upgrades. Like, we've done so much magic, created so much
yeah.
magic through fasting
Yeah,
and intentionally.
fasting, and that's why fasting was used and is still used in spiritual context.
Mhm.
Because when you fast, you strip away everything and you're only left with yourself and your
Your
God
and your patterns.
and your partners.
Yeah.
And you know, in the language of Buddhism, they call them samskaras.
Hmm.
They're the things that attach to our ego. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Cough. Gonna
Yeah.
sneeze. Something coming up.
Okay, continue.
And um, as we sit and meditate, and fasting is the perfect meditation because you don't have the distraction of food and you have all this extra time. And a lot of the fasting, and yes, for this fast particularly, I just felt very wiped out and I needed to just lie down a lot. And then you get to contemplate the stuff that really comes up. So stuff is
Because we
coming
really
up.
go into a deep, I find it's this progressive stillness and kind of, yeah, particularly in this round, I felt so much stillness. And it was really like a meditation. And well, actually, the first day, I felt myself being pulled into a dark place, dark thoughts. But by now, I am able to observe. So instead of being washed under, I'm able to kind of go, okay, this is happening. And the thoughts that come and whatever, they're like, I realize this is not who I am anymore, but it is, I can feel those old samskaras. And we also call them entities that are, they're part of our, karmic journey, lineage, family of origin, who knows, but they're there and we all have them. We all have them. And when we fast, they come to the surface. And of course, it's not just one. I mean, there's lots of patterns that we have. And there's our true pure self. And then there's our personality, which is made up of all these patterns until they get dissolved. And that's not something, it takes years. It's a journey of a lifetime. And there's also no rush. But in many ways, that's why, of course, people meditate and do a
But
lot of other work.
when they come up,
Yeah.
you get the opportunity to truly look at them and to truly love them and accept them.
Hmm.
Because it's in the moment of truly owning and accepting your shadow stuff, your samskaras, that we are able to integrate the energies and then transform them. So, fast for me is one of the most transformative processes that you can go through. Because if you
Yeah.
think about it, internally, what's happening in your body is all these chemical processes that don't normally operate are operating. You've got increased HGH, you've got stem cell production, you've got autophagy taking place. You've got all these amazing magical processes that are like reworking your body. And like, hey, I lost another 5 kilograms this fast.
You're basically lying on nature's operating table. That is what you're doing when you're fasting, especially when you're fasting, dry fasting or water fasting. You are placing yourself on nature's operating table. And so yes, there's the phase where these samskaras arise and there's discomfort. I mean, every time it is uncomfortable. There's no way about it. But when we can detach and just lovingly observe them, then the process is a lot easier. And also, what happens for me now is that when I feel when I feel being pulled into these patterns, I know that some big shifts are coming about. So there's the excitement and there's discomfort and sometimes a little bit of resistance, but ultimately there's excitement because I know what is possible. And so as these samskaras were arising, and then we started talking, it was like, oh, there's these patterns. We identified some patterns that still we haven't resolved, even though I feel, we've resolved most of like
Sure, but
all of our
hey,
big
life
stuff.
is a long journey of many, many lifetimes and stuff will come up. And, maybe
Yes.
you resolve all the stuff of this lifetime and then you'll start working on stuff from previous lifetimes. So,
Yeah, so it
but
doesn't
it is a
matter where you're
magical
at.
journey and fasting, as hard as it can be sometimes, and it's not really physically hard. I mean, yes, there are some moments when you can, like in the previous fast, I had 2 days of feeling really sick. But it's a mind discipline, it's a
Mhm.
mind thing, and it's like, how do you push through it? And when you push through the tough times, it breaks through. You're teaching your whole system about breaking through patterns, because
Mhm.
we live in this pattern of eating, and when we break it, it's so counterintuitive. It's completely natural. All of nature does it, except most humans in this modern world today are used to just eating and snacking all day.
Mhm. And yet, in all mystic traditions, at some point talk about fasting and include fasting. And actually, a couple of years ago, I ran a program that was called Fast Forward. And I called it Fast Forward. I still love that name. And
Hmm.
I think at some point we're going to reuse it because it truly is. You want to fast track through your own patterns and stuff. And or do you want to create something new? Do you want to manifest something new? Which I personally don't really even like the word manifestation. I love the word creation because we don't manifest, we create. We're creators. But the creation happens when we can lovingly observe these patterns that we don't like, that we feel trapped by. And instead of trying to make them better, fix them, understand them, improve them, overcome them, fight them, the beauty is that there's nothing to be done. We just have to observe them, notice them, love them, and then give our energy to that which we want to create. And sometimes in fact, inevitably, we are going to be in the in between space, right? Because now we're about to go and do a beautiful ritual where we're going to close and sort of burn these old patterns and we're going to create the new. But we also know that, as sure as the sun will rise, until we have really burned through these old patterns, they will reemerge. We are going to get annoyed by them. We are going to go, oh, why they're still there? Why am I still, why am I still stuck with this? And all there is to do is bring love, bring surrender, but to stay in the anticipation of your creation. So that's the beauty, is there's actually nothing to do. There's just hold space for this that you don't want and love it, but keep feeding that which you want.
Yes, I mean, I think just in conclusion,
Hmm.
fasting is something that when you bring an intention to shift reality,
Hmm.
it's going to do that. And
Yeah.
it's going to allow you, before you can shift, you got to get past the things that are stopping you from getting where you want to be. And fasting is the most powerful way to bring them up. Though maybe also psychedelics, but
Well, I was actually going to say, I mean, we've done a lot of psychedelics, and whilst they've been helpful, we always come back to saying nothing has been as
yeah,
helpful.
psychedelics can be very extreme.
Yeah,
That's in my experience,
yeah.
and sometimes it's almost like too intense, um, and it takes a lot of integration. Whereas fasting is much more like you can integrate the experience, and sometimes you only see, like, even from psychedelic journeys, you only see the effects much later down the way. Like,
Mhm.
really, I would say you do a 7-day fast, and you pretty much, the changes are going to create and manifest over the next 3 months.
Yes, yeah. In some ways, yeah. To me, it's the fast track. Whereas the problem that I have with psychedelics, as much as I've loved them, and now I don't really feel the need, even though every now and again, for a bit of fun. But um, the problem I have with psychedelics really is that they can give us these intense experiences and make us believe, like almost put us in a state of illusion where we think we've overcome all these things. I mean, it's happened to me. And then years later, we realize, oh no, I thought I had overcome all of those patterns, but actually, I had simply created a slightly new personality that believed that those patterns were overcome. I mean, and this is where, of course, this can like we'll have to do a whole video just on that in some ways because that's where things get really subtle. And so as much as I've loved psychedelics and plant, and not just because psychedelics, plant medicine work, always, I mean, we've not done psychedelics in a or for the very little in party mode. Like most of our work has been in ritual, in ceremony, and all of that. But when we fast, it's much more integrated, it's much more real, and all of the big magic we have created through fasting.
Yeah,
So,
I think the fundamental of fasting is that it brings a profound physiological change in your body, which translates into a change of your emotional state and your mental state. And that and the great thing about fasting is that the changes are permanent, you
yeah,
know. Sure, you can reverse them by eating wrongly and moving into the wrong kind of lifestyle, but you have an opportunity after fast. Like I've lost since these two fasts, last month's fast and this month's fast, I've lost 10 kilograms. Now I've got the opportunity to really now be much more
which were
conscious.
the COVID sort of, the lockdown and moving to Bali and being exposed to all the restaurants here.
Yeah, so I have the opportunity now to really rebuild by being very conscious about the food I eat and really eating healthy to rebuild the body,
Well, we've
working
always
out. Yeah,
eaten
we
healthy.
are
Yeah.
eating healthy, but I mean a lot more conscious and not allowing, because I want to maintain this weight. And I know I can. Um, so yeah, I think
Yeah, that's what we wanted
that's
to
what I
share.
wanted to share.
So hope this was
The
helpful.
power of fasting and how fasting can really shift patterns.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts, maybe your experiences, and if you found this helpful, then let us know.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.